what happens if your tax advisor either makes a mistake or, even worse, misleads you and submits a tax return and you have reclaimed money in respect of expenses that you were not entitled to claim back off HMRC? What happens in those circumstances? Well, the answer is, and it happened recently in the case of Lucas versus Revenue and Customs. Dennis Lucas was a taxpayer. He made an application to the first tier of the tax tribunal and basically said, look, Apostle Accounting Limited made these claims. They didn't even provide me with the relevant tax returns. Yes, they provided me with a figure, and I approved that, and they were my tax agents for the purposes of the whole exercise. But I was not aware that they were submitting 4 tax returns on my behalf, nevertheless, what happened was the money came from HMRC, and HMRC investigated the matter further, and they raised what's called discovery assessments. In other words, there was a discovery of an insufficiency of tax because essentially Mr. Lucas was not entitled to make these various claims for expenses on his personal tax return. And consequently, even though he had been misled, and the tax tribunal did recognise this, and they did have sympathy with him for that, as far as the law was concerned, as far as they were concerned, Apostle Accounting Limited was the official tax agent for Mr. Lucas. So when the return went in, it was as if the return had been made by Mr. Lucas, and Mr. Lucas was responsible for it. And so he got his appeal was kicked out, and he will have to pay HMRC that money back that he obtained. And rather unfortunate in his case is he relied upon Apostle Accounting, and Apostle Accounting has gone into liquidation, and so therefore whatever claims he may have against them for having misled him and so on, they may not come to anything, given the fact that I understand that he's one of maybe 800 people in something that's a similar sort of situation, perhaps. So it's unlikely he's going to get any change out of that. But nevertheless, the key thing has to be, when you appoint a tax agent to look at your tax affairs and to make submissions or to file returns for you with HMRC, check the information very carefully. If not, don't necessarily rush to approve a particular tax agent. Make sure they're regulated as well. That might give you some comfort, particularly if they come from one of the main recognised professional bodies like the ICAEW, the ACCA, and so on. Questions, queries, concerns, give us a shout. We know Insolvency inside out.